Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody had a good week so far. It's just the beginning, but we're off to a beautiful start. The weather's cooperating, no storms yet. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, while we're waiting, again, please make sure that you're looking at your did somebody do cell transport already? Make sure that you're looking at getting in your cells alive activity. And what are we going to do about this? Yeah, I'll leave that alone right now. I'm waiting for a few more people to come in. We're going to watch a quick review video. I do want to say that we are coming up. Your grades are terrific. So I don't have to call anybody's mama in this class, and that's wonderful. That is so wonderful. But there are a couple of you, nobody who's here right now, that have a 0 or 2. So I do want to say this, and maybe I should wait till the guilty parties are present. But if you do have anything that is outstanding, make sure that it's in by October the 2nd, because after that, the 9 weeks are up and the grade book changes and I can't go back and fix anything. So make sure that you are current with all of your assignments. Half of you have turned in your Cells Alive models and some of you have not. So please make sure that you get caught up with that. I'm gonna give it another minute. We are gonna go forward to cell transport. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a matching quiz for you on these organelles. So we're gonna watch a video in a minute on organelles and cell function. And then after that, All right. I think that we'll go ahead. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. So again, we are going to what's this morning, we're going to look at a summary of all the organelles and cell parts, and then we're going to go on to cell transport. So tomorrow you're going to have a quiz, a matching quiz on what do the cell parts do. And so I'll give you some time to review that. I'm ready.
All living organisms are composed of cells. Cells are responsible for all anatomical and physiological features
All right,
of
and I
all
just want
body
to pause
systems.
it there because that's part of the cell theory. So remember, this is a theory that states what we believe. Okay, that's what theories are. So we are at this time believe, and it's a theory. It's not, which means that maybe somewhere down the line, although this has been a theory for years and it hasn't changed much at all. But that is the foundational theory for living things, that all living things, plants and animals, are made of cells. They are the basis of structure and function for all living things. So remember that part as far as the cell
Different
theory is
cell
concerned.
types can vary greatly in shape and size, but they all have a common structure and similar components. A typical cell is enclosed in a plasma membrane and contains a nucleus and a cytoplasm. The plasma membrane serves as the cell's boundary, controlling the traffic of substances in and out of the cell. It is also the site of communication between the cell and its environment. The membrane consists mainly of two layers of phospholipids, with their hydrophilic heads, the phosphate groups, facing the aqueous environments inside and outside the cell, and their hydrophobic fatty acid tails facing in together. Other membrane lipids include cholesterol, which is essential to membrane structure and fluidity, and glycolipids, which maintain membrane stability and facilitate cell-to-cell interactions. The lipid membrane is dotted with membrane proteins, of which there are two types: integral or transmembrane proteins, which span across the membrane, some passing through multiple times. Some transmembrane proteins have a small carbohydrate chain on the outside of the cell. And peripheral proteins, which attach to the membrane on the inside. A peripheral protein typically functions together with an integral protein. Membrane proteins fulfill a variety of functions.
Progressive's Up Payment program provides down payment assistance for first-generation home buyers.
As receptors, or receptor-associated proteins, they receive messages from outside the cell. For example, a non-steroid hormone must bind to a membrane receptor and act via several other membrane proteins to activate a cellular response. Each receptor is specific to a certain molecule. As ion channels or transport proteins, they help move charged particles and large, uncharged polar molecules across the cell membrane. As adhesion molecules, they help cells adhere to each other and to the extracellular matrix. As enzymes, they catalyze reactions that are required outside the cell but in the vicinity of the cell membrane. Transmembrane glycoproteins also serve as surface antigens, determining the cell's identity. On top of the cell membrane, some cells have surface extensions that carry out specialized functions. Examples include microvilli that increase the surface area in the small intestine, cilia that move mucus in the respiratory tract, and flagella that are responsible for the movements of sperm cells. The nucleus contains genetic material, the DNA, and is where DNA replication and transcription, the major step of gene expression, take place. Most cells have one nucleus, with the exception of red blood cells, which have none, and some other cells that have multiple nuclei. The nuclear envelope surrounding the nucleus consists of two membranes, inner and outer, each of which is a phospholipid bilayer. The envelope is dotted with nuclear pores, protein complexes that provide controlled passage between the nucleus and cytoplasm. Chromosomes are strands of DNA wrapped around proteins. Under a light microscope, chromosomes are only visible during cell division when they are highly condensed. Instead, the most prominent feature of the nucleus is the nucleolus, the area around the clusters of ribosomal RNA genes. This is where ribosomal RNAs are made and where ribosomes are assembled. Ribosomes then move to the cytoplasm to fulfill their function in protein synthesis. The cytoplasm includes a gel-like liquid called cytosol, various organelles, and cytoskeleton. The endoplasmic reticulum, ER, Golgi apparatus, and vesicles constitute the intracellular membrane system. The ER is a network of connected flattened sacs called cisternae. Its membrane is continuous with the outer nuclear membrane. Part of the ER appears rough, as it is covered with ribosomes. This is where the synthesis of secretory and transmembrane proteins take place. These proteins have a signal sequence within their amino terminus, which, as soon as it emerges from the ribosome, targets the RNA ribosome complex to the ER membrane, where translation continues. The emergent polypeptide enters the ER membrane as it is being translated. Transmembrane proteins, identified by the presence of a hydrophobic stretch, stay in ER membranes, while secretory proteins are released into the ER lumen. The smooth part of the ER synthesizes lipids and lipid components of cell membranes. As lipids are produced, they are inserted into the ER membrane. Membrane proteins, lipids, and secretory proteins are then packaged into vesicles to be transported to the Golgi, where proteins undergo post-translational modifications. Vesicles pinch off from ER membranes, travel to Golgi apparatus, fuse with Golgi membranes, and release their content. The Golgi is a stack of separated cisternae. Each contains a set of enzymes responsible for a certain step in protein maturation. Similar vesicles transport lipids and proteins from one cisterna to another, and ultimately to their destinations, the plasma membrane, lysosomes, or storage vesicles. The destination of a protein is typically determined by a signal sequence acting as an address tag within the protein. The ER is also a major site for metabolism and storage of calcium, whose release is a trigger for many cellular processes. Lysosomes are vesicles containing hydrolases that break down macromolecules into their building units, which can then be recycled. The enzymes are activated by the acidic environment within lysosomes. In white blood cells, lysosomes digest phagocytized bacteria and play a role in immune response. Mitochondria are best known as the cell's powerhouses. This is where energy is extracted from food compounds and stored in energy-rich molecules. A mitochondrion has two membranes. The inner membrane has multiple folds called cristae. Two of the three main steps of cellular respiration occur in the mitochondria: citric acid cycle in the matrix and oxidative phosphorylation on the cristae. Cytoskeleton is a network of protein filaments that fulfill a variety of functions. There are three types of filaments: microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. Microfilaments are made of the protein actin. They enable muscle contraction, provide support for microvilli, produce cell movements, and play a role in cell division. Intermediate filaments are made of different proteins in different cells. Their roles are mostly supportive. Microtubules are large tubes of 13 protofilaments. Each is a long chain of tubulin dimers. A centriole is a short cylinder of 9 triplets of microtubules. A cell typically has 2 centrioles lying perpendicular to each other, forming a structure called centrosome. Centrosome serves as a microtubule organizing center, from which microtubules grow out into the cytoplasm. In non-dividing cells, microtubule networks hold organelles in place. During cell division, they form the mitotic spindle that guides chromosome movements. Microtubules are also responsible for the movements of cilia and flagella. Are you a fan of Alila Medical videos? If so, you will love our new Alila Academy.
Alrighty. Going to stop it there and come back to okay, the module. All right. So in the module. So some of the things that they talked about, so just kind of a wrap up on that, is that we're looking at the cell as the basic unit of structure and function. And we also talked about Ms. Grin, that all living things must perform all of the life functions. So what he was going through was showing you not only what the organelle looked like, but also the job that it has, the life function that it has, that it must perform in order to keep everything in the cell alive. So, because again, if the cell as a basic unit doesn't function right, then the organism doesn't function right. And again, that's what leads to our diseases, that leads to some of the dysfunctions that we experience, some of the illnesses that we experience are due to the fact that on a cellular level, something's not acting right. Okay, so if you haven't already done so, go through and look at this diagram and click on all the little uh, italicized I's so that it tells you what it does. Again, note that the cell theory states that organelles evolve from a relationship between a larger cell, either in a cytochloroplast or mitochondria. Just basically know that cells come from other cells, from pre-existing cells. So not only are they the basic unit of structure, they are the basic unit of function. And they didn't just pop up out of the sky, they were made from another cell. All right. From there, we're going to look at cell transport. Actually, I do want to hold off on this for a minute. All right, but I am going to give some folks a chance to turn in their cells alive. Those of you who are finished can go ahead and read this page on cell transport, because that's what we're going to do next. Then we have an activity and a worksheet, but there's a lot to cell transport. And cell transport is not that the cell is moving from place to place, but that the materials are moving in and out of the cell. So there's a process to how the materials move in and out of the cell. So going forward to what we're going to do is start with cell transport, how materials go in and out. And then as he was showing you, then we will look at cell reproduction, and cell reproduction involves how the nucleus creates the chromosomes and how the chromosomes behave during reproduction. And then we'll look at, with transport, we're going to look at digestion, and when we look at reproduction, we're going to also look at respiration as a separate topic. So all of those topics under Ms. Grin, we're going to look at separately. So keep Ms. Grin in mind as far as what living things will do. So again, give a few minutes for those people who need to turn in cells alive. The rest of you start reading cell transport. I'm going to stop sharing and do attendance, and I'll get right back to you. All right, if you're doing nothing else, review those worksheets that you just did. In other words, I didn't ask you to just do them just for something to turn in. That's what the quiz tomorrow is about. Review your organelles and their functions. Tomorrow, the quiz is tomorrow. So use this time today to look over those two worksheets and know what they do. You will have to match the function with its organelle. That's what the quiz is. It's a matching quiz. Matching the function with its organelle. You will do just fine. Like I said, I'm very proud of this class. Everybody's passing and passing well. This grades in this class are the best class I got. So pat yourself on the back. There's only about 2 of y'all who need to turn in some late work, but even there, we're still doing good. We're still doing good. And again, a reminder, this is fourth period. All missing work has to be done before Friday, October the 3rd, October 3rd. Your 9-week exam, there is a 9-week exam, and it is on October the 3rd. Fourth period exams are set for October the 3rd. So put that on your calendar. There is a biology 9-week exam on October the 3rd. Right? That's the end of 9 weeks. And so again, all this grade book will close and it starts afresh the following week. So I will not have access to change anything that is missing if you turn it in after that. Uh, and no, I couldn't have said 31st because September doesn't have a 31st. So the first is, so 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now. 9 weeks, 9 weeks. We've been here almost 9 weeks already. Time flies when you're having fun. All right, so October the 3rd, October the 3rd. What is that? Okay. All right, so everybody's reviewing right now for the next few minutes. Tell you what I do. I'm gonna give you a practice. Okay, I just put a link in the chat. So stop what you're doing. Everybody look at the link that's in the chat. This is a self-paced drop and drag where you have to label the parts of the cell. So I put that in there for you as self-paced, but I'm going to open it just for a second as teacher-led. So you won't be able to do this one. I'm just showing it to you from my side. Okay. Okay, so everybody stop what you're doing. And you are going to do the Nearpod. This is practice, but it does score for you. So make sure you do it. So you have a picture of an animal cell here. All right, so it tells you up here that it's an animal cell. Put this on my screen. And then don't look at that code because that's not the code I sent you. So you do the one that is self-paced. This one is, I put it so that it's teacher-led so that I can do it. All right, so you want to drag the word. It's supposed to drag. All right, so drag like that. All right, so you want to do that. So take a few minutes so that you look at your worksheet. So it will help you because it looks very similar to this. And it should help you complete this diagram. All right, so everybody has to do this. It's going to score for you, but this is practice. Okay, so you're just going to click and let's see, where is it? Okay. All right, so those centrioles. Oops. All righty. And all right, so I'm going to stop sharing so that you can do yours, but that's what you want to do. It's going to look like that when it's finished. It will um, score it for you. Okay. Practice, practice, practice. Now this is just looking at the parts of the cell, matching the words with what the structures look like. Tomorrow you're going to be matching the words with their function. Okay. All right. All right, that one was just the animal cell. I'm going to put this one in for plant cell. All right, so the first one had just an animal cell. The second one has a plant cell. And it's the same thing. And again, most of the parts are the same. There's three differences between a plant cell and an animal cell, is that the plant cells have that large vacuole, they have a cell wall, and they have those green things called chloroplasts. That's what makes them different. Everything else is the same. So all the other organelles are the same. They do the same thing. It's just that plants, because they are specialized so that they can capture the sun's energy. and support. They don't have skeletons like bones like you do, so they have cell walls that give them some type of support. And later on, we'll talk about the fact that when that large vacuole is full, then the plant, you notice your plants wilt every once in a while. When we talk about transport, we're going to talk about if the water in that vacuole is full, it gives pressure on the cell wall so the plants stand up nice, straight, and tall. If those vacuoles shrink, then the plant shells shrink and the plant wilts, and that's an indication that it's time to water it. All right, so you have two links. Use those to review the pictures for the plant and animal cell. So one is a plant cell, one is an animal cell. Like, again, stop what you're doing and do, because it's going to score this. So don't forget there's two of them. Great. Right, I'm still looking at half of you haven't turned in your interactive cell worksheets either. So make sure you get those turned in today. Imani, I'm not quite sure which one you're talking about.
For the worksheet assignments, do we just label them?
The cells alive?
Mm-hmm.
You have to give the name and a brief description of its function. So in other words, don't
Okay.
write everything that you see on cells alive. Find find this, like it's like the second sentence most of the time that tells you what it does. Okay. All right, so again, if you finish both of the matching activities for the Nearpod, and make sure you've done both, go ahead and review your Cells of Lives worksheet for the quiz. Because then there'll be no pictures, you'll just be matching the function with the organelle, which is why it was important for you to write that on your worksheet. Oh. Anaya and Andre, you still didn't do your quiz on let's see, on the gizmo. It's worth 5 points to you. It's not gonna do it either. Mm, give me 1 second. Mm, okay, I gotta do more than that. I have two. All right, now check your message. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we got a few more minutes left to class. Just to be sure, everybody was supposed to completed both Nearpods, the animal cell and the plant cell. And everybody should also by tomorrow turn in your Cells Alive worksheets. And tomorrow we have a matching quiz. So you match the words with the pictures today. There will be no pictures tomorrow, just words and their function. All right, today is Tuesday. I do tutorials. If you need to drop in to discuss something, I am available at 1:30 to 2 o'clock. Okay, folks, so if you have no questions for me and you've done all that you're supposed to, you can go ahead and log out. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.